Hey, good morning. I'm Josh.
And I'm Layla.
And this is Jayla in the morning.
And here are some marriage tips to help improve your marriage.
Yeah, so today we're talking about compromise in marriage and how the word that we've come to know as compromise.
It's bunk.
Right.
Like too often we lose ourselves with this idea that marriage is a way that you have to compromise who you are, compromise your perspective or your opinion on things, when we want to tell you a little bit about how to not have to compromise, be who you are, and experience a better solution when you're trying to find something with your spouse or your partner.
Yeah, because I think that there's, different definitions, somebody's perspective or definition of compromise, may be better than others. And we just want to make sure that whenever we are coming to an agreement together, that neither one of us feels like we've lost.
Right. Yeah. So do you want to describe or define compromise?
Yeah. Just we're talking about, compromise in the bunk way, is that one person feels like they've lost the battle, like they're
just
giving up because the other person obviously cares about this issue so much more than they do, so they'll just do it their way
to make peace.
Yeah, to make them happy, and yes, exactly, to keep peace in the relationship. But what if there's a third way? It's not your way or my way, but it's our way.
And I don't know if you've ever felt like that, where you're up against something. It could be something simple, like how you're loading the dishwasher, or it could be a big financial decision. And we each have our own perspective. So sometimes when we're going up against something, I know how I would do it, my perspective, my solution maybe. And then he's got
my way, yeah.
his perspective.
Right.
But instead of letting one person rule, we want to help think about it with maybe hearing each other's sides and then coming up with a third better perspective.
Right.
Our perspective that we've found is actually better together. Right. A little bit of me, a little bit of him, but more importantly, the solution that we find after listening and hearing to each other is way better than I would have thought up on my own with my own experience.
Right. And specifically, for us, I think that was a great example that you just gave about finances. I had a spreadsheet that, I marked out what, was due on what days through, and, I would pay the bills when my paycheck come in. You did a lot of auto pay.
I had my method and my techniques, and it worked really well for a very single lady.
Right, and you had all your bills on a calendar, so...
I also got paid differently.
Sure.
The way income came in.
So when we came together on the finances, we were like, my way's better. No, my way's better.
But what was the whole point is unity and staying in harmony, and in finance is kind of interesting how to hear the other person and come up with a
third way.
A third way.
Yeah, and
a better way.
The third way in that one was for us to do both, right? We kept it on the calendar events, and we also made the spreadsheet, and we both, helped each other with their, being updated on both.
Right. And practicing, it was like a little bit of practice with this third technique or this conglomerate of ideas, that we could still make sure the bills were paid, that they were paid on time, but in a way that would give us both some relief, where we're like, okay, this makes sense for us as a whole. This makes sense for us as a unified marriage, and not just this push-pull of we got to do it this way.
Yeah. Although I do like the things that we do where we give the other full authority to make decisions in that department. Like, I give you full authority to make decisions in the food department. because I know I don't make the best decisions on food, that I can trust you to make good decisions for me so that I stay healthy.
But it's important sometimes to get the other person to chime in on something, even when I
Sure.
can be trusted to make clear-cut decisions on how we're going to plan our meals for the day or the week or whatever.
But you make it real simple for me too. You'll be like, do you feel like sausage or you feel like bacon?
Right.
You know?
Give some options.
Yeah. And then, you've kind of allowed me to just to do the dishes the way that I do them, load the dishwasher the way I like to load it. And, you give me some grace too when maybe they're not loaded and washed as quickly as maybe you might prefer. And I appreciate that you've done that. So I think there's a give and take, and the things that are really important, you want to come to that third way, whereas others, maybe you want to just give the other person the freedom to do it the way that they do it.
So a good process for that, if you're thinking about an area or maybe a subject in your marriage, maybe something that you're struggling with or would just really like to have a better option together, is to, number one, make an appointment with each other based on that particular topic. So say, hey, when is a good time to talk to you about kitchen behavior or our finances? Because I want this to be better, and I know that when we're in alignment, when we're in unity, it's going to work out better. So make an appointment with your spouse on that particular topic. When is a good time to talk about it? And allow each other both an opportunity to share your perspective and work through it until you find an agreement on how the two of you want to move forward together. Obviously, we have different strong suits, right? Like my strong suit is in the kitchen. His strong suit is in the spreadsheet. and that's okay. And there's value in that. And it's also a way to honor your partner's strengths or weaknesses and be able to enhance each other versus this like tug of war and a push-pull of who's going to win their choice in the dishwasher and the finances. That's not hopeful. Working together is the goal.
Absolutely. I know you gave another example of when we were coming up with how we wanted our closet to look.
Oh yeah, this is cool. So we were designing a small walk-in closet together, and I had some ideas. I was doing it for a living at the time, and we had a little program. We worked together, and I came up with what I thought was the best solution.
Well, I mean, she is very experienced in closets and interior design, so she led the way with that. But then something else happened, right?
All right. So then Josh had his own idea of what the closet should look like.
Well, yeah, but the important thing I thought in that was that you asked me my opinion. I didn't give it to you without permission.
Yeah, and so I kind of presented, hey, this is my idea. And then I said, I would love to get your thoughts on how would you do it? What is the first thing that comes to mind for you, or what do you need?
Right, and I thought, well, you know what? Maybe if we moved it just a little bit further this way, that would give you some more room to put your clothes behind this section. And we ended up coming up with something that was better together than it was separate.
So we weighed the two options. We were like, okay, this is what Layla came up with. This is what Josh came up with. And then we kind of took a couple steps back.
Yeah.
And we were like, all right, what is going to add value to our experience with this closet? It's a stupid example, but it really helped me to settle down and say, wow, his perspective was really helpful. And then we massaged together a completely third option that really enhanced the way that we interacted in the closet, his side and my side, or his side, her side, however you want to do it. but in a way that was like, oh, this makes so much more sense when I quieted my idea, listened to his, and then he chimed in and felt valued.
Yeah, because you wanted to know my opinion on it, and you wanted to know what would make the closet good for me.
Yeah. Then it made it a lot easier for him to help make the down payment.
Yes, that's true.
But it was relieving about how a mix of opinions is that I'm not a lone ranger in this marriage. And even though I'm used to doing things a certain way, it was way more enhanced when I got Josh's opinion. And then we massaged out the details together to make it a much better closet. But we experienced that same form of communication to make other decisions better when we kind of pause the movie in our own head and listen and ask the other person. You know, it's very honoring and it builds them up to be invited into sharing how they see, you know, how things could be done.
Sure. And I would say too, the more that you invite your spouse in and ask their opinion on something, the less you're going to get the unwanted opinions and suggestions.
So that's really it for compromise in marriage is bunk. I've been tempted by that before to try to just say, well, marriage is about compromise, when it's really not. It's about doing life together, doing it in harmony and in unison together. And in order to do that, we cannot lose ourselves. So I encourage you to take that process to heart. Practice sharing, hey, this is how I would do it, inviting your partner into, hey, how would you do it? And see what kind of answers come to you when it comes to making decisions, whether it's small decisions or big decisions.
Yes, because we want it to be brainstorming as a team rather than one person trying to win and get their way.
So if you like this video, please make sure to put the thumb up, subscribe, but most importantly, share this with a family or friend or loved one. Please share these videos to help other people that want to enhance their marriage, add value to their spouse and their communication. And we look forward to seeing you again at Jayla in the Morning for more tips on enhancing your marriage.
See ya.